Hello guys, I wanted to say thank you because I'm about to reach 100 followers and I'm very thankful for that. So today's video I want to talk about self-worth and how it is constructed in childhood. Um, the reason you might want to know about this is if you're right now struggling to build your confidence, your self-worth, your self-love. I got a little bit of a cough, but we're gonna work with that still. So and yesterday I also was talking to a professional life coach who knows a lot more than I do, which I really like because I get to learn from them. Um, we were talking about how it can be complicated to build self-worth right now in adulthood, or if you're a teenager, whatever you are in life, and when there's certain experiences in the past that are not completed, certain experiences that still have certain impact on you. So I want to start by explaining first how self-worth it's constructed through your childhood and why it might be affecting you nowadays. So if you're somebody who right now is trying to build self-worth, confidence and self-love, but for some reason you just never seem to get there, you do your affirmations, you treat yourself, you take care of yourself, you learn to be nice to yourself, and somehow it's just still complicated. It still doesn't feel natural. There's still some blockage there, not allowing you to fully be at peace with yourself, basically. um if that's the case, it might be because there's certain experiences in the past, maybe in your childhood or as a teenager or just in the past, that really impacted your confidence, your self-love, your self-worth, the things that we were talking about, and also your self-image, which plays a huge role in self-love and self-worth. As if as in if you're right now trying to love yourself, trying to learn how to feel worthy, trying to feel all those things, but it just doesn't come natural, or it's not gonna come that natural if very subconsciously you have a negative self-image that was created by negative experiences that you went through and that programmed you to believe negative things about yourself. So what can those experiences be? Well, it can be experiences of rejection, of being neglected, of even abuse, any type of abuse. So let's go through those three. For instance, when you experience rejection in childhood, and it can all just be direct rejection, it can be bullying, it can be your family being giving you a lot of negative criticism, basically killing your confidence. But it can also be when you're being neglected, your parents are not there. That's rejection too. That's something that another this was a psychologist who knows more than I do. She told me how when your parents are not there, it might not be a direct rejection. They're not directly rejecting you. They're not directly telling you, "Oh, you're not good enough. I'm leaving." They're not telling you that. But you, as a kid, when your parents are not there, the assumption that you make is, "I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable. That's why my parents are not here with me. That's why my parents are not loving me." That's what a kid assumes, and obviously then starts coping with that. That's another for another video probably. But that's one thing. Experiencing rejection, direct rejection, like your caregivers just never giving you a break and always criticizing you, never letting you build confidence because they always make you feel like you're not good enough, verbally, directly, or with actions, or being neglected, which also is rejection. Because if your parents don't pay enough attention to you, don't give you enough love, that's rejection. You feel rejected as a kid. You feel that you are not you're not being given the love that you want or that you deserve. um Other things which can be more like abusive experiences. You could have gone through sexual abuse as a kid or any other type of abuse. That's even more the beliefs that you get from those. A lot of people might not know, but from sexual abuse you get a lot of beliefs of not being worthy, not being good enough, feeling dirty, feeling used, really like bad things from something that was not your fault. You get a lot of guilt and shame too, because you think it's something shameful, and you might feel like you are shameful even though it was not something that you chose, it was not something that you did, it was not your fault. But you as a kid, you don't feel like that because it's something just so imp- something that has such bad impact on you that the mind doesn't know how to act, how to regulate properly. um Even those things, when something like that bad happens, it also messes up with your nervous system, your body. Your fight or flight reflects, like your body enters such a state of pain, of alert, of danger, that it just might never leave it until very, very few years later in life, where you're starting to realize, oh, you know what, I can relax now. But your body might stay in a cycle, in a state of defense that you don't realize, because it's something more like subconscious. Your body's stressed all the time, and you might not even notice that it was from something that happened 10, 20 years ago. um so in conclusion, from this, for certain experiences in life such as this, I wanted to give some examples. You can get certain beliefs about yourself that might be the reason that right now it's really hard for you to build confidence, self-worth, and self-love. So let's say you went through being neglected. Maybe your father wasn't there, maybe your mom wasn't there, maybe they were there physically but they weren't there emotionally. That you were basically just a guest in their house. They didn't give you the love, they didn't listen to you, they didn't spend time with you. You're basically being a guest in their house. But a lot of parents don't notice that, like that's not normal, that's not right. You're not giving your kid, a kid is not just a pet that you feed and you give them a bed and that's it, and school and that's it, and like that's not how you treat a kid. It's a human being. But anyways, if you went, for instance, through something like that, being neglected, um beliefs you could get from that could be, I'm not good enough, I'm not deserving of love. Why? Because you're not getting love. So you might assume, you might start thinking, well, I'm not deserving of it. Maybe you might think, there's something wrong with me, I gotta fix it. But the point here, I don't wanna go through too much through the same thing. I could definitely make a video of each one of them individually, and I am. But the point here, the point of the video is that those might be the things that are stopping you right now, or that are making you struggle build confidence, build self-worth, build love, build all of those things. Those might be the things. And why, like why could that be? Like if right now you're taking care of yourself, you're doing your affirmations, you're learning how to appreciate yourself, etc., etc. Well, because the reason they're stopping you right now, it's because you got beliefs about who you were from those things. And even though it might not feel like that, they might still be present in your mind somewhere, believing, oh, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. So how do you want to build your confidence, your self-love, your self-worth nowadays, if your inner child, the the part of you that experienced those things and still in pain, is still believing those things? Like what I'm trying to say is, if you're struggling right now to build those things, well, yeah, of course you're struggling, because look at all of the beliefs that are still here present, even though it happened already in the past. it's something that, like, if in the back of your mind you're still thinking, well, from that, I'm not good enough, I'm not deserving of love, this is who I am, I'm somebody who's not worthy of love, somebody who's not worthy at all, somebody who was abused, so I carry shame, I carry this, I carry that. It is gonna be harder for you to build those things because you're building on top of something that is stopping you, something that is blocking you. So for that, if you recognize yourself in any of these things, um basically the point is the beliefs that you carry from negative past experiences, that could be what's stopping you nowadays. So, like always, the way that you can help yourself with this, the way that you can solve this, because I like to finish a review by giving you an advice, not just explaining to you. Just by the awareness of this, it really does help you. But I like adding more of what you can do. Um, because obviously I want you to love yourself, to be able to build confidence, to be able to build self-worth. Is that's if that's what you want. I mean, if you don't want it, there's nothing I can do about it. But if you identify yourself in any of these cases, that maybe you went through like a very, you were raised in a certain way, what you gotta do is identify who you constructed as your self-image. Who did you believe you were from those experiences? You can grab some paper and you can just write it down. You can meditate on it too. I will write it down because then you can see it, it's clearer. Um, you can grab some pen and paper and write down, think about, like, just meditate on it. Who did you assume you were, or what self image did you adopt from the things that happened to you, the experiences? You don't gotta go through your entire life thinking, oh, when I was in fifth grade, I dropped a book. No, no, it's not like that. But you'll know, you will know, because even right now, you might already be thinking of certain experiences that constructed that image. Is really not hard. Your brain is working on your favor all the time. Trust me, even though sometimes it does weird things. Right, but right now, if you just think about it, those experiences will come up one by one. Um, so you grab pen and paper and just think, who did I assume I was from when I was neglected, or from when I was bullied, or from when I was rejected, or from when my mom used to maybe hit me and that made me feel very unsafe and very not loved, or when my caregivers used to criticize me all the time and they killed my self-confidence because they just taught me how to criticize myself. So try to write it down. You can write down what you feel or what you think. The best way I'm thinking of it is you think about it. Like, I could think of something, I could think of, okay, something that happened to me, you know what? It made me feel very unsafe. Yeah, I could say that. But the point here is that you identify the self image that you got from that, okay? Because that's the point. Obviously, it's gonna be really hard for you to love yourself if in the back of your mind you still think you are that person who you created. Because we all have a self image, and if that self image is bad, yes, it's gonna be hard to love yourself. If you're just repeating affirmations saying, I love myself, I'm amazing, I'm amazing, I'm amazing, but you're not, or you don't think you are, like in the back of your mind, the self image of, I'm not worthy of love, I'm an outcast, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. Yes, of course, it's gonna be hard to love yourself. It's like, sorry, sorry, I have a little bit of a cough. Still trying to make the video though. Anyways, what I was saying, yeah, of course, it's gonna be really hard to love yourself if you got all of these beliefs of who you were based on experiences that were not your fault, but that you didn't think so. Like, you assumed things about yourself. Um, yes, you gotta build a new self-image, but also you can just get rid of that one and find who you are. So you're only writing on your paper, and you're not just sitting there like, oh, I felt unsafe, I felt like this, I felt like that. I mean, yes, you can do that if you feel like you need to, if you feel like it's helping you. But the point here is to identify what self-image was I given or constructed. Like, nobody came and gave you a book and like, this is who you're gonna be, this is your role, as if it was a play. Nobody did that. But the experiences that you went through, and also like people might not have told you, okay, you are this, you are that, and yeah, they might have told you, and you might have adopted those things if you got parents of caregivers or um classmates who constantly told you you're stupid, you're weird, you're an outcast, you're never gonna achieve anything. Yeah, you might have adopted those things, and you might want to write that down, so that will help you. You write that down, you write, like, if you feel like you adopted it, like, oh, what you can put on the top of the paper, who do I think I am, or my old self-image, something like that, something that helps you. Just put it into the paper, you start writing down maybe things that people told you. I'm stupid, I'm an outcast, I'm this, I'm that. And you start saying, like, maybe it's some, because 90% of the time, or most of the times, that might be something that you believe. Like, somebody told you, or people told you that so many times that you believe it, that you believe you're weird, you believe you're an outcast, you believe you're useless, you believe a lot of things about yourself just because somebody told you. But if you want to go further, and I'll let you know right now, the who you constructed to be, the person that you think you are, was not only by the things that you were told. Like, yeah, a lot of people who have, your own parents could have told you like you're dumb, you're stupid, and you adopted it. But I don't need to do, people didn't need to do that. I don't need to tell you you're anything like that. I could, with my actions, I could make you feel like that. So take that into consideration. A lot of things that you're gonna write, and you can start like that. Start by the things you were told, and ask yourself if you believe those things still to this day. Because I'm gonna let you know, you're not. You're not. Anything they told you, you are not. You might think like, well, I mean, I started being, or I'm like that, or whatever, because you were convinced you were. You started acting like that. I could tell you like a lot of stories, not just mine, but from other people. If your mind thinks you are something, your mind's gonna make sure you believe it. And your mind's gonna make sure you project it on the outside. That's if you ever heard about the placebo effect, or if you know about like so many experiments in psychology, you'll know that you can convince somebody that there's something, and they'll be the same way. One of the most popular psychology experiments is when they went to a college, or I think a university. They made a test to test your IQ, how intelligent you were. They gave it to like a certain percentage of the university, and some of the people got results back, and the results told them that they were above average intelligent. Next thing you know, these people were they were like going above, they were having better grades, they were more involved in community, they were achieving more stuff, they were really above average intelligent. And if you guessed it, yes, they weren't. Those results were fake. They weren't above average smart until they got convinced they were. So if you were convinced growing up that you were weird, that you were stupid, that you were this or that, and now you feel like, yeah, but you know what, they're right, I am. You might just have gotten fallen into being that. And most of the times, I'm gonna let you know, it probably is. That's probably the case. Because you can program your mind. And unfortunately, you didn't know that maybe other people were programming it for you, but now you know. And you don't need to keep continuing that self-image. You don't need to, because it's not you. So if you're reading your paper and you're trying to tell me, but Gabby, I am these things, I think I am weird, I think I am that, you're not. you're not. I'm gonna let you know, you're not. You are who you decide to be. But till this day, you're being who other people told you to be. If there's some things that you think that you might actually be at, I wouldn't think so. I mean, but uh, well, that's going further. But I don't think you are. You're not. You're not stupid. You're not weird. You're not an outcast. You're not yada yada whatever they convince you. You're not. I can guarantee you, you're not. But if they convince you enough, like these people, you might just be like these people. But unfortunately for you, they didn't convince you that you were above average smart, above average brilliant. They didn't convince you that, right? But wasn't it the same effect? It was the same effect. However, you don't gotta live like that anymore. Because now you know what you can do. And you got me here explaining to you that you don't gotta live like that. And so, why don't we convince ourselves the same way other people convince us to be somebody we were not against our benefit? Why wouldn't we convince ourselves that we are somebody great for our benefit? Somebody who we will like, somebody who, I mean, I'm not telling you to create an alter ego, somebody who flies and like reads minds, anything like that, but better things instead of feeling like, oh, I'm stupid. You know what? I am smart. I have talents. I am talented in certain things just like everybody else. I got my own talents. I'm good at certain things because I got my own talent. I'm my own person. I'm unique. Instead of thinking, oh, I'm not worthy of love. I am worthy of love. Instead of thinking I'm an outcast, I'm weird, I'm unique, I have my own uniqueness, and I am worthy of love and acceptance for that. So I'm not really telling you to fool yourself. I mean, if you want to create a self-image that is like all spectacular, go for it. But you're not fooling yourself. You're just changing the programming that they gave you for one that actually benefits you, one that is a lot better for you and that you deserve, because you are amazing, like you are worthy of love. That's not a question. So you're not fooling yourself. You're just getting rid of the negative self-image, negative programming, and now you're taking that programming to your advantage. But going back to the exercise, this exercise, write down at the top my old self-image, or my old beliefs about myself. I like putting it like that because now you're telling your brain it's old, you're gonna leave it in the past, right? And you start writing. You can start by the things you were told. Maybe you were told, um I'm not very talented at the things I like. Maybe they told you that. Maybe you were told, I am too much, I am too eccentric, I am weird. You can start by that. You put it there, very nice, very neat. And you just acknowledge, are those things that you still believe about yourself? Most of it, if they're gonna be a jest, they're gonna be things that you still believe about yourself. So you start with the things that you were told. Easy, right? You can remember something you were told. Now the complicated or more complicated part, I don't think it's hard, but more complicated part is gonna be, you're gonna pass from the things you were told, which are very easy, to the things you assumed, not by what you were told, but by behaviors or actions. So you're going from what people's words, what they told you, to what they did or they didn't do that made you assume something about yourself. So something that they did, I don't know, maybe your mom will forget to pick you up at school when you were very little, and that made you feel that you were not very important. So that's what you're gonna write down. That your self-image might be like, I'm not important. And because obviously, like, if somebody forgets about you, you might feel like that, like, oh, I'm not important, like nobody even remembers that I'm here. So that's the belief. But as you see, your mom never told you you're not important. Maybe she's just very forgetful, or maybe she's just not very great. But yeah, maybe it could be, maybe she's just very forgetful, or maybe she's very busy, but it's not something she told you. Maybe not even something that she really believed about you. Maybe she thought you were very important, but she was very forgetful, broke the law, who knows. However, you assume something. You felt certain way, and then you assume I am not very important. So, can you see how that's a lot more complicated? You were never told you were not important, and other people might not even have thought that. But from something that happened, an action, or more like a lack of action, you felt that way, and you assume, you know what, um, people forget about me all the time. I might just not be very important. So that's can be from an action or a lack of action. A lack of action could be if you had an absent parent and they're not there. They're not giving you love, they're not giving you attention, they're not spending time with you. That's not an action. You're not being I'm not hitting you. Like an action could be if as your caregiver I hit you and make you feel unsafe, make you feel like sorry, you don't deserve my respect, that I feel entitled to hurt you in the name of love. So that might make you sorry make you make that might make you convinced the only way to get love is being hit or anything. It might give you a belief, or give you a belief of, oh, you know what, I'm not worthy of respect because somebody's hitting you. So that's an action. If I'm hitting you, you might feel like, oh, I'm not worthy of respect, my caregiver is hitting me. But also, it can not only be from a direct action that I'm doing to you. Maybe your classmates at school, they bullied you, they pushed you around, they played pranks on you. That's an action, and you might have gotten the belief of, oh, I'm a joke, I'm not worthy of respect. So you write those things down, like the beliefs that you got from that. But just be mindful. After you put all the actions, you can go for the lack of actions. So those were examples for when somebody does something and you assume something about yourself. But in other cases, it might be that they didn't do something, and that's what made you assume something about yourself. The best example is when a caregiver, a parent, maybe your mom, maybe your dad, maybe somebody important was just not there, or was there but they didn't give you love, they didn't give you attention, they ignore you. So you might assume I'm not worthy of love because I'm not being given love, I'm not worthy of attention, I'm not important. But usually I will classify it into those three different categories. It doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, the point is that you're identifying the beliefs sorry, the self-image that you constructed. Because none of these things are true. If somebody treated you poorly, it had to do a lot more with them. They were not kind, they were not a very kind, open person. And most of the time what psychology says is that it comes from a person that was immature or hurt, or like, everybody's heard the phrase hurt people, and it's very true. But it was never your fault. So these beliefs that you assume about yourself, you didn't need to assume those things. But your brain sometimes copes like that because it's better for you to assume, oh, I'm not good enough, maybe there's something wrong with me, than to just believe, oh, I'm not loved. It's a weird way it works, but the point is that we're fixing that and we're reprogramming our brain to feel better. So once you are done with your paper, what I will do is that you write a line, try to put everything on one side, all your beliefs. An example of a belief is like, oh, I am not important, or I am weird, I am this, that, I'm not very talented. On the other side, you're gonna write down the opposite. You're gonna write, oh, I'm very unique, I am worthy of love, I am lovable, I am important, this, that. And try to slowly make that change. It might take a little bit, it might take some time, and you might have to relieve. Though I will do meditations on YouTube to try to reconciliate with that part of yourself. But once you do this exercise, and you can do other exercises, there are other exercises around there. This is just an example of something that I won't do. But once you do that exercise, if you are able to change your self-image, that's what will work. And that's the whole point of this video, is to tell you that if you're struggling with those things, building confidence, building self-worth, building self-love, it might be because the self-image that you got from your childhood, your programming, it's not benefiting you. It's not telling you that you are lovable, that you should be confident, that you are amazing. So obviously it's gonna be really hard because you're trying to love yourself, you're trying to be confident, you're trying to feel worthy, and in the back of your mind you're like, but I'm not, but I'm not. How am I gonna love somebody who's weird, somebody who's an outcast, somebody who is not worthy of love, somebody who's not good enough? That's how your mind is right now. Your mind is like, how are you telling me I love myself, I love myself, but how am I gonna love somebody who's like this and that, like somebody who's weird, somebody who's not good enough, somebody who is like a dork, somebody who's clumsy, somebody who's this. So you could, I hope you get understand now where I'm coming from, right? You're trying to do affirmations, love yourself and everything, but you're still thinking so negative about yourself. And not because you choose it, but because you were programmed that way. That's why it's harder to just convince yourself you're somebody else when you were convinced your entire life that you're not good enough. You might be very talented and very smart and very great at certain things that you do. You might be very responsible. You might be very. Everybody has unique talents. I'm convinced of that. Everybody has their own unique talents, their own unique attributes, characteristics, etc., etc. But if you are not convinced of that, you might just not feel like that's the case. So if you're struggling, I will highly recommend you, or tell you, it's your self-image. That's the problem. How do you fix it? Well, the exercise, do some meditations. You're living in a era where you can just go on YouTube and look up any type of meditation. It's gonna be there. I saw meditations how to become a dolphin. I don't know if it works, but if it does exist, yeah, there's definitely a little self-image. I've seen a lot of content on self-image, self-concept. So changing your self-image, your self-concept is gonna change your entire life. It's gonna give you the confidence. It's gonna give you the love. It's gonna give you the sense of self-worth that you're looking for. That's if you're struggling, that's what's happening. That might be what's happening. I'm not telling you it is, but that might be what's happening with you. So the advice at the end of the day, in conclusion, work on your self-image, work on changing it. How do you change it? Recognize the one you have, and recognize it's not you. It's not who you really are. It's who people convince you were. Why? Because they weren't paying themselves. Because they didn't feel good enough themselves. And when people are in a state of misery, they wanna bring others down. They wanna put others in misery. If they didn't feel good enough, they probably wanted to make somebody else feel like that. Why? Maybe because you felt good enough back then, and they didn't like that. Maybe because you were very confident in who you were, and they weren't. Maybe because you were very unique and like who you were, and there to be unique in yourself, and they weren't. They were trying to follow everybody else and be somebody who everybody else will like, follow the standards of society, and you weren't. You were very amazing and unique in your own way, and they didn't like that. They didn't like seeing you shine. There could be many reasons, but the only one that's not gonna be the reason is you. You were not the problem. You were not at fault. You didn't provoke it, and it's not what they told you. It's not true. It's not who you are. It's not the reality of you. You had to do more with them than with you. So you were never stupid. You were never weird. You were never an outcast. You were never not good enough. You were never unimportant. Because the way somebody treats you, the way somebody talks to you, is not your fault. It's not depending on you. Therefore, it's not something that has to do with you. That's the point. The first step, recognize that self-image. It might be very painful because it's reliving emotions and memories that of where it came from. Because yeah, realizing, oh, I think I don't feel good enough. It's painful itself, but it might link you back to the past or where it came from. But it's worth it. Recognize that self-image. That self once you recognize it, realize what's the opposite of what you could start building, and start little by little getting rid of that self-image, realizing that's not me, that's who I was convinced, that's who people convinced me I was, and it was not my fault. Sorry. I got a cough, like I said, but I'm working on healing it. So little by little, you should start seeing the shift, and I will construct the self-image that you want. I mean, I know it sounds like a little fake, like, oh, I'm just inventing somebody, but a lot of artists do that. And you're not necessarily inventing somebody. You can, I mean, if you want. Don't come from the ego, come from something that you will really love. But you're basically, if you got a belief, you're turning it around. That's what you're doing. Because these beliefs are not necessarily like, oh, top of the world broker or something like that. It's not like that. You're just telling yourself, I'm worthy of love. Are you fooling yourself for telling you that you're worthy of love? No, you're not. You're just changing a belief that somebody else gave you, and you are worthy of love. So you're not really fooling yourself. If you want to create an alter ego, go ahead and do it. Personally, if you don't want to do that, then what you do is that recognize the old self-image, turning around into unworthy of love, and recognize your attributes. Recognize your talents. Recognize what you're good at. And that'll give you a more genuine self-image. Like if you are somebody who's very compassionate, kind, and sweet, then you start realizing those are your attributes. So that can be your new self-image. And you're not inventing it. You are compassionate, you are kind, you are sweet. So you're not inventing it. You're just getting rid of those limiting beliefs and recognizing who you really are. If you want to have a more, you can totally create an alter ego if you want. But if you want something more genuine, like, oh, I don't want to create somebody, I want to be myself, because that's the point. Then work on getting rid of that and recognize your talents. That'll give you a more genuine self-image. You can totally create a self-image. You can create any type of self-image that you want, and if it's convenient for you, you can do it. But if you want to be something more genuine, something more from the heart, the soul, that's something that I like doing, is that by starting to recognize and getting to know yourself, your likes, what you like, what you're good at, your attributes, your characteristics and personality, then that'll give you a more genuine, if that's what you want. But hey, if you can add a little bit of things like, oh, I'm very smart, I'm very creative, I'm very this, I will do it. So I hope that helps anybody who needs help with that. Personally, it's something that I've been dealing with, and that thank God I've been doing well. Sorry, it's that cough. I've been doing pretty well. I haven't done a video because I really want to do good videos, but like I promised myself I was gonna update a little more, and that's what I'm gonna do. I might buy one of those rings, so I do very nice videos for all of you guys. Been reading your comments. I always do. I try to reply to everything. Makes me very happy, like always, to see that it helps you. I'm very passionate about this. I got a message. Sorry. I wanted to leave this for last because some people might just come to watch the video, watch the information. That's what they want, and now they're gone, and that's okay. You do what you need to do. Maybe I do the same, but I wanted to leave this in the end. Now I might change it to sharing my personal experiences at the very end. That way, whoever doesn't want to get very personal, very hurt by that. But anyways, whoever doesn't want to get very personal, they don't have to. So if you're staying here, you're my best friend now. maybe you are. So, well, if you stay here now, I'm just gonna tell you about like my own personal experience, where I am in my journey, because I like to do this also as a blog. Because when I started, and I mentioned it before, I don't know if I mentioned it, but now I'm mentioning, now I'm saying it. So, um, by the way, my name is Gabriela. My name is not Bree. The reason my channels always Bree Des is because my name is Gabriela Denise. So I take Gabriela Denise. Okay, it makes sense to me. It's in there. It's like in my name. So just to like, I didn't want to put Gabriela Denise in there everywhere. So I just created this little name, Bree Des. It's not even a name. It's just like shortened version. But I'm Mexican. I speak Spanish. That's my first language. I mean, you can tell I have an accent. It's a Mexican accent. Okay. Um. So I didn't know that Brie was a name until people started calling me Brie, and now I know. I thought it was a cheese, and it is a cheese, but it's also a name. My name is not Brie. My name is Gabriela Denise, and that's why I created that little name. I regret because now everybody thinks my name is Brie, but it's not. My name is Gabriela. But anyways, so my own personal journey and how I started this channel, I wanted to add it here because I never did like a video. Maybe I do a separate video too, because it's my channel, so I think I can do it, and it makes me very happy to have this channel. Very thankful for you guys. So um so the way I decided to start this channel and the way that I started getting into psychology is that I went through a lot of trauma when I was a kid. Yes. From that, I think that it was so hard to get rid of it because I could tell there's something wrong with me. Not as in there's something wrong with me, but there's something going on in my brain, in my body, that is not letting me be free. It's not not letting me live at peace. And I had to learn how to undo it myself because I didn't really go to therapy that much. I tried going to therapists, but it was kind of hard because I couldn't even speak. It was really, really hard for me to even speak about any traumatic event. I couldn't. I went to a therapist for about like 6 months, 7 months, something like that. Maybe a year actually. Like just once a month actually. Yeah, but once a month. I don't know how long I went, but it was for a few months. And I couldn't speak. There was a couple of times where I did. I was able to show vulnerability, and my therapist actually, she congratulated me because she said you did really good. I'm proud of you, and I was like very happy. Nowadays, where I am in my journey, I call it, if you want to call it, healing journey or going back to your self journey, whatever it is. We're all going through a self journey. Where I am right now in my journey is that I think I learned a lot more how to be with myself, love myself. A lot of my trauma has vanished, and that's amazing. And I'm very thankful every day because my trauma was really, really bad. So I couldn't even be present at all in my life. I was extremely, extremely scared, terrified of life, of people, of being just alive because my body kept thinking that it was stuck in those things that happened. I couldn't even like be alive almost like normally. I don't know how to explain it. Well, I mean, yes, I do, but I'm just giving a small brief. Didn't want to get too much into detail. From there, yeah, I had to learn how to undo it myself. And nowadays, where I am in my journey is that I'm just very thankful. There's a lot of things that already left my mind. I'm capable of doing very, very simple things, but for those who like me have gone through really, really bad trauma, we know that it's harder it's it's harder for us to do very simple things that should be so easy in life, and it makes us feel and it makes us feel ashamed because it's very simple things in life, and some people might make you feel bad about it, but you're over here like, it's really hard for me to do these very hard things because my brain is not in the right place. My brain is still in fight or flight mode. My body is still in stress and all that. And yeah, you might feel ashamed, but don't feel. I was in the same place, but nowadays I'm able to do certain very simple things, so simple that I couldn't do. I couldn't even do. Like I couldn't even be present. My brain was completely out of space. The first video that went viral that was mine was about being a daydreamer, and my brain was completely out of it. Like at some point in my childhood, I needed to escape so badly that I just escaped to my imagination, my brain, and that's where I lived a lot of my life. Like I couldn't stop daydreaming because I was just so scared of the reality of being alive. Even though my reality was no longer there, my body was still scared. Um, yeah, but where I am in my life right now is that I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing great. I'm doing amazing. I feel so much better. I feel so much more independence from a lot of things, especially people, including people. So I feel more at peace. I feel more with more grace. I feel better about myself. I feel a lot of my trauma and everything has unfolded very gracefully, very nicely. So I'm very thankful for that. Um, and of course, I made this YouTube channel because I think that I knew a lot, and I'm very passionate. I love this, all of this. So I obviously love talking about it, and if I can help others, like if they can, if I can, if anybody finds helpful the things that I post and my own personal experiences, then I'm more than happy to share them. So for those who stay, thank you. I appreciate that you listen to me whine and cry. um yeah, anyways, I feel more confident. I feel a lot closer to self-love, to a lot of things, and it's just from all of this insight, all of this self-awareness. Self-awareness will save your life. Learn how to do it. You won't even need my videos, but I'm thankful you like my videos. If you do like them, I'll be here anyways. So like always, thank you a lot because you guys always watch my videos and always commenting, and it's very nice. And I'm about to reach 100 followers, and I'm very happy with that. And I'm also hungry apparently. um Thank you so much if you watched this video, and if you want to like and subscribe and comment, well, you can do that. You don't have to, but you can do that if that's what you want. um I'll make videos more often, and I'll see you guys in whatever other video I make. Thank you.